Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to It's Not So Jaded. We made it through another week. We made it through to another Sunday. Yay! Survivors! We are survivors. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what a tough week. I have no idea how your week was, but please do share with us and tell us how you got over it and how you got a good weekend. I had a tough week. You know, when you're in survival mode, it's challenging every day because you're trying to unwind what was done to you, the psychological abuse. And you didn't even know you were in a psychological warfare, but unwillingly you were, and guess what? You were a survivor! Guys, it's about 2 weeks away from Christmas, and I know a lot of us are struggling or going through our own personal issues, whether it be financial, family pressures, family responsibilities, children, family that are ill. There's so many reasons and situations that people are dealing with, and our trauma and healing from trauma. So, hi Elijah, welcome back. Thank you, welcome. Thanks for joining. And thank you to everyone that's watching this. You know, I say that you are here for a reason, and you are meant to be. The reason you stopped here wasn't a mistake. It was meant to be. You are meant to hear what something is here for you today. Stay tuned. And Elijah, how are you doing today? And how is everyone doing this Sunday? Like I said, we have 2 weeks away from Christmas. 2026 is coming up. And yes, Michelle will not be joining us tonight. She just had her confidence conference last night, Reset Confidence. And she did an amazing job. And what I learned out of that is one sentence Michelle said. And you know, that's all I want you guys to do, is get one sentence out of what I'm saying tonight and let the light bulbs go off. But what Michelle said last night yesterday morning, I should say, made a lot of sense. She said, don't let anyone diminish your light. Don't let anyone water you down. So, you know, for 2026 coming up, have that mindset. Don't let anyone diminish you anymore, because we've been diminished and we've been minimized and we've also been erased. And we are trying to restore and heal from that. But yeah, hi Elijah again. Yes, thank God you're doing great. I was just saying that to everyone. I was just saying that, oh my gosh, you know, this was a tough week, you know, and Christmas is 2 weeks away. And a lot of us are, you know, having our own personal struggles and problems. And for us just to be tough, you know, we have to push through. You know, another thing that Michelle said was, you know, all the micro improvements, all the micro steps you take is going to add up, and you're going to see growth, and you're going to see yourself getting better, restoring, healing, stabilizing, reclaiming what was stolen and what was lost. So here we are. Let me get closer to y'all. Hi, welcome. Welcome to It's Not So Jaded. It's a little dark today because all the lights kept glaring off, and I'm like, well, the show's got to go on. I can't worry about these lights glaring. It was glaring off so bad. I was like, no, you know, that's not going to look good. So it's a little dark, but guess what? It is Sunday evening. It's 6 o'clock. We're getting cozy. We're feeling all right. You know, we're going to win this coming week. We're going to have no crap. Woo! Yes! I'm so excited, right? But yeah, so tonight, again, you know, why I started this show is because when I first discovered, when all this happened again, my name is Jade. This is the Not So Jaded show. I'm a year out, 2 weeks ago. out of a narcissistic abusive relationship, and which resulted in a felony. Wasn't enough, the man gave me eviction notice after saying, I love you, and doing all kinds of evil stuff that you could not imagine. 24 hours before all that, safety seated me, which I learned only now what it is. And it's a cycle. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about rapid cycling in coercive control relationships. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. A lot of these things, I didn't know. That's why I started this show and also my Facebook pages, is because when I first discovered what happened to me, it shocked me. I couldn't believe it could exist. I couldn't believe that someone could literally abuse your goodwill. Someone that can abuse your love, your forgiveness, your trust, violate your boundaries and think it's okay. I just never knew that these things existed. Again, and like I always say, I was ready for the overt MFer, okay? I was ready. I was taught and ready. I was ready for the overt abuser, because you can tell he's abusive. But no, honey, not the covert abuser. He will come for you, and you will not know. And this is why I am here, because I didn't realize all these things. I didn't know this. When I realized that it's called coercive abuse. First, I learned narcissistic abuse. As you can see, my other page is called Not So Jaded Narcissistic Abuse Survivors. I first thought, it's that for sure. Oh, it is that. But it's way more insidious than that. And it's way more evil than that. This is why it's called coercive abuse. And so that's, again, this is why I started, is because I want you to understand what it is and how they operate. I want you to understand the blueprint of it, and I want you to understand the patterns of it. And I want you to understand what law enforcement in the whole world, some of us would know what we're talking about, okay, that needs to understand what psychological warfare is, emotional abuse, and emotional conditioning, okay? And again, this is not incident-based. This is pattern-based. This doesn't happen overnight. It's not one incident and no. This is a pattern. How else is it? Because how else do you get a parasite to go into your brain and abuse you and take advantage of you and be arrogant and entitled to do it? Who does that? Who does that? Again, cruelty by these people are not by accident. It's not by mistake. No, it's calculated. Cruelty is not by mistake. It's not because they're having a bad day. No, it is a pattern. These people are patterned. And this is why once you understand the blueprint of coercive abuse or narcissism, it's predictable. You can see it. Like I always say, different name, same manipulation game. All right. Elijah or anyone out there, if you guys have any questions, come on down. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer any questions for you guys. And again, this is why I started this page, to help you guys understand what it is that you're fighting against and what happened to your brain and why you feel so doggone exhausted every day and why you can't put sentences together and why you can't function like a normal person. Because once you've been abused by a narcissist or a coercive abuser, you will never be the same again. Y'all know this already. Y'all know this. Someone else is on, I can't tell who. But welcome, guys. Welcome. Sunday night. We made it through to another Sunday. I don't know how. We are some survivors. I'm telling you. I've never had, my daughter has a disability. And she had over 32 surgeries. Well, 32. And you know, I went through that. I made it through it. Nothing could have prepared me for narcissistic abuse. Nothing could have prepared me. Nothing could have prepared me for someone that can abuse your goodwill. Again, did you ever think that it existed, that someone can abuse your goodness, trust, your forgiveness, your commitment, loyalty? Love. Try this. I love you. Who knew? But again, this is why they are so good, and this is what the law enforcement and the justice system do not understand. They don't see the invisible abuse. They only see physical abuse. This is invisible abuse, and it really causes major neurological conditions and problems and brain damage. And that is what I am trying to raise awareness about, because too many of us, look at how many of us online, over 12, 15 million, trying to understand what happened to us, that we were in a psychological warfare, that someone orchestrated the perfect scenario, because that's what they do, to inflict a neurological collapse on you. And so when you do react, they turn it around, spin it around, and say, look, and they say your trauma is their evidence of you are out of control, you are erratic. Well, that's because you were safety seeding someone, and you were shock seeding, and you were chaos seeding, and you wanted that reaction, and you wanted that abuse. You want, this is what you were working up for. And that's exactly what I want you guys to understand about narcissism, because it is invisible, and it really causes havoc on your neurological system, your nervous system, your brain. And then of course it trickles down, and who suffers? Your children suffer, because you're absolutely in shock of what happened. All right, I just want to really quickly get to rapid cycling. So, you know, we all know that when you come on here on this show, you already know, honey, we ain't talking about no normal person. We're not talking about a healthy relationship. We're not talking about a healthy separation. You must be mistaken if you are dealing with a narcissist or a coercive abuser. This is why you're watching this, because it is not normal. It is not a healthy separation, because no one behaves that way. Because what it is that they are plotting and planning behind your back, especially when it comes to the discard phase. And that's kind of what the rapid cycling is about. Is the rapid cycling is, by the time you get to the rapid cycling, exactly, you already in the exploitive phase of your relationship. So again, exploitive. I can't say that word right now. So exploitative. So you are already in the exploitative phase of your relationship if you are hitting the rapid abuse cycling. And it is vicious, honey. And let me tell you, it is rapid, it is frequent, and you have less time to recover, because you're still dealing with what he did just a few minutes ago or just yesterday. Okay? It is vicious. So now that we know that, of course, we're not dealing with a normal person. Again, if you guys have any questions about what is happening in your relationship, or what you see as red flags, or what you think is safety seeding, but you're not sure, or if you think that it is cruelty disguised as love or concern, you know, that's always a good one, the concern. Shoot your questions, because, you know, if we don't ask and if we're not educated, we're not going to find healing, and we're not going to be able to reclaim what was stolen from us. So rapid cycling is all about destabilizing you. And like I said, it's done rapidly until the collapse, okay? Until your big reaction that they've been working towards, planning and plotting for, okay? So what do you need? Come on now, I know y'all know this answer. Get your notepads out, get your pens. I know you know this answer. What do you need to be able to manipulate someone? What do you need? Of course you need empathy. They already figured that sucker out. You know, they figured that out before. They so calculated and premeditated. You will not know, and this is not a joke, and you can ask any survivor, you will not know what happened to you until it's over. Now, I do see some people on Facebook, and it's usually younger women, that are wiser than us. Okay, I'm in my 50s. They wiser. She's wiser. They wiser. They ask, I think I am in a narcissistic relationship or something like that. And what should I look for? And man, I love those questions, because it lets me know, hey, people are listening. Okay. Hey, people are paying attention. Okay. We're raising awareness. They are understanding the red flags. Okay. I get excited because if we do not, okay, this is my problem. Because the law enforcement, the justice system does not recognize, some states do, okay? Some states don't, okay? And they don't enforce it. Some have hidden statutes and they still don't enforce it. But, you know, we don't have the education for it. But anyways, I want to keep going. So what do you need in order to manipulate someone? Like I said, they already got your empathy, you already have your trust. Okay? At this stage, you pass that. You know, they're exploiting you now. You're way past it. You are in the depths of it. This is the last phase you're in, okay, before the discard. Okay? And remember, if you are with a narcissist or a covert abuser, you will not know it's coming for you. Because, like I said, they plot and plan behind your back and while you're sleeping with them, right beside them. They plot and plan. So, of course, you need safety seating, okay? So, they give you false reassurances, okay? Safety seating, false reassurances. They make you feel safe. They give you a sense of safety. They make you believe it's going to be okay. They were just cruel to you. They were just degrading. You were just given the silent treatment. You were just disrespected. You were discounted in something. You know, you were just no attention. And you're just there. What else? So, yeah, safety seating. Again, for safety seating, that's all about shock value abuse. And how do they do that? And I've said this before, know what your love language is, because they know your love language before you figured it out, okay? Yes, they did, honey. They will, of course they do. They target you. They know exactly what your Swiss cheese is. Like I said, they know my Swiss cheese, baby. That means they know exactly what it is that you need to make you feel good and whole, and to make you feel like you guys are a match, you have a strong connection, and he is your soulmate. They are very, very good at mirroring you. So, you know, I first didn't understand what the word mirroring meant when all this started. Mirroring, okay? They copying you. They are exactly giving you exactly what it is that you're looking for. What you're missing, they are going to fill it for you, okay? These people are very, very calculated and premeditated. They know exactly what it is. For me, he said, for me, my children, you know, I didn't date for a while because I was a single mom. And he said to me, he said, those are my stepdaughters. Wow. Stepdaughters. I haven't heard that in a while, right? So you feel so connected to them and you trust them. They say all the things you want to hear to make you feel secure. Okay? So anyways, so so know what your love language is, and they will abuse the heck out of it. For me, it's affection, right? And words of affirmation. So it's very easy. I love you. They will weaponize that. They will weaponize affection. They will weaponize taking you out to dinner. They are absolutely calculated. All right? So you cannot manipulate anyone without safety seating and having them trust you. So, and they weaponize your love language. Next is sudden cruelty. These guys don't play. They do not play. They will humiliate you. They will degrade you, and they will make you feel absolutely like crap. And let me give you 2 examples of sudden cruelty. And they do it on purpose. Cruelty is not by accident. It's not because they're not feeling well. They do it on purpose. So real quick, cruelty. My example, our assistant, okay? She came over twice a week. This guy would play mental games, and now he's triangulating us, okay? Don't forget, he's trying to triangulate us because she cannot be his friend because he needs her to make me look bad because I am the bad one, okay? So he triangulated her, and guess what he did? He would bring her breakfast into our home, okay? So in the morning, he goes out and he gets breakfast and he comes back and he doesn't bring me any breakfast, his girlfriend. See the little small things that they try to degrade you with. And that's what, again, police doesn't understand, the psychological warfare. This is little dibs and jabs like that throws us off all the time, destabilizes us all the time. So let's talk about how they do it, okay? Intermittent cruelty. I'm sure you guys have all your stories, and you're probably flashing through your head right now about how cruel they were. First, like I said, they show you affection, and then they abuse you. For instance, for me, well, let's first go back to intermittent cruelty. Let's talk about that first. Intermittent cruelty is when they condition you. And this is, like I said, the last part of the abuse, the last phase, okay? And these highs and lows are not like the ones in the beginning, you know, when you were first love bombed. These are just little highs to make you feel that, because that's the trauma bond, right? The highs and the lows. They give you a little bit of reassurance that everything's okay, everything's fine, holding your hand, little small gestures, you know, sending you a heart or something, texting you, you know, or sending you a little kiss just to let you know, oh, everything's still okay, it's still okay. But it's just baiting you. It's just baiting you, and it's just setting you up. So, and then of course, it just sets you up, of course, for the devastating lows where your brain is just absolutely scattered and you don't understand how someone can just be so nice and charming and then so cruel. But that's the MO, and that's how they condition you. And now you have many and many, many cycles of that, okay? Don't forget. Then you have This is how they do it, guys. This is all the emotional cruelty and the psychological warfare you do not know that you're in, okay? Next thing they do is trivial provocation. They will look for fights and argue about nothing. When there's nothing to fight about, honey, they will find it, okay? Because they need to lower you. They need to ruin your day. They need to make you feel that you're nothing. You need to understand who the boss is. And it doesn't matter how small the fight is. And let me tell you one of the fights that we had after a horrendous 3 days of him being just an absolutely demon. And, you know, you don't understand what's happening. And we were supposed to go to some kind of a festival, and he canceled my ticket and gave it to someone else. Of course, I didn't know this. And, you know, I was stuck at home and I didn't realize, but this is 3 days of him being absolutely ridiculous and just abusive. And so he comes the third day, he says to me, there's 10 dishes in the sink. Now, you've just been so abusive, and you're going to flip it around and talk to me and make me feel guilty about 10 dishes in the sink. So do you understand how they provoke you? You've done absolutely nothing, but they have to find something to blame you, that it's your fault, and make you feel guilty about something that you absolutely did not do. So it's your fault. Don't forget that. Another example, this one, you guys are going to love this one, okay? Oh my gosh, you're going to love this one. Our first fight, okay? He comes in, it's on a Friday, he comes in and he slams the door open. Again, I did not know this is abuse. I thought, again, it's my fault, okay? He slams the door open and he says, I told you to call the carpet cleaners 5 days ago. And I said, okay. I said, here's a sticky note and it says 3 p.m. And right now, at that time, I was still trying to work on my business. I was still hopeful I can work on my business. He had other plans for my business, honey. I didn't have a business no more because it became all about him. But anyways, I showed him a sticky note. I said, hey, look, here it is. I'm going to call them at 3 o'clock. Okay, right now I'm working on Flow to Glow, my business. Okay, but I haven't forgotten. Well, and he just kept going, you know, making me feel bad, telling me that I'm a bad person. He hates coming home to me. I was like, God dang, what happened? Oh my gosh. And no, that was hilarious. And you're going to love the rest of the story. I said, well, you know, I don't know why you're so upset. Here it is. I'm about to do it. I'm going to leave. And this is still when I had boundaries, okay? I said, I'm going to leave and I'm going to come back when you've calmed down. That is the right thing to do, right? Because this man is explosive out of nowhere, okay? And okay. And I leave, okay? He messages me around 8:30 or so at night. And he says, if I'm not back in an hour, he's changing the locks. What? I'm like, how is that possible that someone wants to change the locks because you had a fight because you came home like a demon screaming about trivial stuff? Okay. And sure enough, I came back and the locks were changed. See that abuse? And of course it was shocking because he wanted it to be shocking. Okay. That was my first lesson. First fight, first lesson. Yeah. At that point, I was already hooked. I was moved in. And my children were called stepdaughters by him. And I couldn't tell my children the truth. This man just locked me out. Yeah, I've been taking care of myself for over 18 years in providing for my children and I. And he locked me out. But you also know he gave me an eviction notice. A year and a half later. Very entitled, very premeditated. You are just there for their pleasure. They do not respect you. They feel entitled to you. And whatever happens to you is not their problem. They have no insight or foresight or empathy to how their actions affects you. You know why? Because they really self-justified it in their own heads. Okay? Let me read you guys the creed that I love so much. So let me read their creed, okay? Because again, they take no responsibility or accountability for what they do, and they think it's okay. And that blows my mind, okay? That it's allowed. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because we need to raise awareness. We need to raise awareness about their patterns and their abuse. So this is their creed. And I'm sure a lot of you know it. Some of you don't. You're going to have a good laugh. And it used to hurt me when I used to read it because it is true. But you have to understand the psychology, okay? And how they think and how to battle that. All right? So you ready for the creed? I know y'all know it. If I said it, I didn't mean it. Neurological shock. If I meant it, woo, you deserved it. Yeah. Emotional trauma, okay? If I did it, it wasn't so bad. Cruelty is not by accident, guys. Their cruelty is not by accident. It is planned and plotted. It's intentional. It's on purpose. If it was that bad, woo, it's your fault. Okay? If you question me, you are disrespectful. You're insane. If you react, you're crazy. Of course, they engineered that. They wanted you to react. And that's why they can call you crazy. To say, look, I told you she's crazy. Lastly, if you disrespect me, you abusing me. So as we all know, narcissists and covert abusers and coercive abusers, they change the script on you. They switch it around. They flip the script and they become the victims. Hi, Daniel. Welcome. Hi. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Dominic. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Welcome to Not So Jaded. Here we expose narcissism. And here we talk about the truth. And here we heal and reclaim ourselves. Here we save lives. And we don't play here. We tell the truth. We reclaim what was stolen from us. Absolutely. And then, guys, so yeah, that's my story about how they take trivial things and make them into mountains to kind of deflect of what they're doing to you and how they are abusing you. So they use that tactic to deflect. Who cares about 10 dishes in the sink? You just abused me for 3 days. And now you're trying to flip it around and make it about dishes when you just know what you just did to me these 3 days. So be aware of those things. We all know about shock value. And shock abuse and how they seed us. Shock abuse. They love to shock us. Again, this is how they deliver their cruelty, okay? This is how they destabilize us, all right? And again, all their tactics, the intermittent cruelty, okay? The fighting about little stuff, all right? The shock value. All that is done just to destabilize you emotionally and to cause you to have that fog. Don't forget that fear. They put that fear in you and that confusion. That fear and that confusion. So you guys know, as the cycle repeats itself, and as the cycle accelerates, so does the shock abuse to your nervous system and to your brain. Those accelerate too. But even more so, that's more alarming, that the shocks to your body, is that confusion and fog over you, it creates such confusion where you cannot figure it out. You can't make it out. And that is exactly what they're counting on. They are counting on you to have that confusion, to have that fog over you, to have those repeated insults to your nervous system, so that you stay in that state of shock, of state of flight or fight all the time, and you can't figure out what is going on with you. That is what they counting on, is that fog and that confusion and that self-doubt, and you just making yourself smaller in your head, and that conditioning. They count on it. Again, invisible abuse. Who knew it could happen? Who knew that you can get conditioned like that? Because they're destabilizing you all the time. Shock to your brain and to your nervous system. How do you expect that you're not going to see that manipulation? You're too much in confusion and self-doubt. You're not going to see the manipulation. It's already inbred in your brain. Psychological warfare. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely, Daniel. It all starts with the mind. It's all mind games. It's all a mind game. And it's just so sad. So again, guys, as these rapid cycles are happening, so does the abuse. They also accelerate their abuse, okay? They are accelerating the level of their abuse and the level of cruelty of the abuse. And remember, if the cycles are so rapid, you're not going to be able to figure it out. So guess what? Whoever's watching this right now, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, you're in the cycle, but believe me, you can't see it, because they use a variation of abuse tactics like connection, affection, fear, safety, isolation, financial resources, connection, love. So do you see all those mechanisms that they can work with, and all those tools that they can work with to manipulate you, bully you, threaten you, harass you, destabilize you? It is so many. How on earth can you put it together when you're in a state of confusion, in a state of survival, in a state of fight or flight? You can't figure it out. And they count on it. So I hope what I just said to you guys makes sense, that psychological invisible abuse is real. Absolutely. So what happens to your body when you're in that? Of course, you cannot, there's no clarity, because you're being manipulated. Your body's in shock. You're in flight or fight constantly. You're in survival mode. And worse, the cruelty is disguised as concern. Their cruelty is disguised as love. And you don't see it. And because you've been conditioned and groomed to believe that they are right, that what they're saying, how dare you? You're wasting their time. Like, how dare you question them? Like Michelle and I always say, you want a narcissist mask to fall off? All you gotta say is no. Okay? That's all you gotta say. Yay! Welcome, guys. So in closing tonight, I just wanted to say to you guys, we all on a healing journey right now. No one, not one of us asked for this to be imposed on us. I always, and I battle with, am I happy this happened to me? No, I'm not happy. I'm never going to be happy. But am I happy that I know about this type of abuse, and I know that these people exist, and I know to be aware, and I know to be on guard, and I know how to protect myself? Am I happy for that and for my children to know that? Yes. For that I am happy. Hi. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not happy that this was imposed on me. I was a naive girl. Yeah. Very naive and innocent. I believed you at your word. I trusted you. I didn't think twice about you, trying to harm me. But that's exactly what I experienced, was a setup, safety just to be abused. And I really did not expect that anyone could manipulate and abuse someone, especially your goodwill. And that's something that we all have to recognize, because we are targeted for our empathy. We are targeted for that exact thing, our goodness, and that's exploitation. Again, exploitation of our goodwill. Who knew that it could exist? So in healing and in closing, guys, we are rebuilding our nervous system from all that shock abuse that's been done to us. And when we were trying to figure out why would they do these things to us, and it is our fault. So imagine your brain trying to rewire all the negativity that you were conditioned to believe, that it is your fault, you're the problem, you're to blame, and shifting the blame on you, and you're believing that it is your problem, you are the problem, and that, can you imagine how it's going to take your brain to reconfigure that? Because you're so used to being seated, safety seated, to believe that you feel safe and reassured. So now you're hyper vigilant. So now you question everything, and you question everybody, and you don't want to say too much. And if someone says something a little too much, then you take it personal. But that's all part of being hyper vigilant. You were wired to believe that you were walking on eggshells, to put it plain and simple, and imagine now us trying to rewire our nervous system from all that abuse. So as we all know, healing starts with clarity. Once we name it and we understand it, absolutely reprogram, reclaim, absolutely restore, all the re's. Like I said last week, we have to rebuild, restore. And so yes, I am glad that I understand it. And I know these people exist. And it doesn't matter how you want to slice it or dice it. These people exist, and they are real. And evil does exist. So I hope that you guys all have a fabulous week this coming week. Like I said, it's almost Christmas. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. And you are healing piece by piece, day by day. Micro little pieces. You are getting better. Little micro steps. It all adds up to big things and great things. And guess what? 2026, we're going to be fabulous. Yay! You're a survivor. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Lorraine, for watching. Thank you. You guys have a great week. I will see you next week. Hit me up with any questions that you have. You're a survivor. Yay! Thank you, guys. Good night. Thank you.